is the king of the Kingdom of Eswatini. His Majesty King Mswati III is expected in Ghana for a 4-day visit.
The king's arrival in Asante didn't just make headlines. It took over the internet. From Kumasi to the continent, everyone was talking about one thing: the visit of Africa's last absolute monarch to the Asante Kingdom.
A king has landed in Ghana, the last absolute monarch on the African continent.
But this wasn't just a state visit. It was a royal moment and the whole continent was watching. No matter where you looked, it kept coming up, whether in the news, on social media. At every event, people were talking, and the core of it all was
King Mswati III.
King Mswati III.
Mswati III.
King Mswati III is one of the most talked about monarchs in Africa today, the ruler of Eswatini and Africa's last absolute monarch. Beyond the headlines, he is a symbol of continuity, holding on to tradition in a fast-changing world. He became king at 18, and for decades, he is led with a mix of heritage and authority. So when he came to Ghana to meet Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, it wasn't just a diplomatic visit. It was a historic meeting between two kings, a cultural bond, a royal brotherhood, and a rare moment of unity between Eswatini and Asante. Over the next few days, the king's visit would unfold across tradition, diplomacy, and celebration. From his royal welcome at the Mencha to meeting with Ghana's traditional leaders, a grand table of chiefs, a royal banquet, and a special ceremony at KNUST. Each moment revealed a deeper meaning behind his journey, and after it all came his departure. I followed along not just to witness it, but to understand the purpose behind every step.
We have gathered here today to welcome the King of Eswatini. He is here to pay a courtesy call to Otumfuo the Asante.
As you can see right beside me, students are lined up waiting to welcome His Royal Majesty King Mswati III.
It's a lovely morning in Mencha Palace. My name is Samuel Champon. Coming here to welcome two great kings in the world is something I can boast of every time. Right now I have with me the flag of the Asante and Eswatini. So this morning we are welcoming great kings, the Eswatini king. I'm an Ashanti and I'm proud of it. Asante.
Here comes the convoy of the two most respected powerful kingdoms in Africa. The King of Eswatini. It's a very proud moment for these students to be proud of the students selected to welcome these two great kingdoms. And here comes the powerful kingdom, the King
of Eswatini. The guards quickly stepped down to guide him as he sat down, and you could feel the royal presence already. His first stop was at the National House of Chiefs. When he arrived, it became official and deeply royal. He was welcomed with a beautiful Adwa dance. Before he met Ghana's highest body of traditional authority, libation was poured, honoring the ancestors in the moment he was about to step into.
I couldn't make it to the National House of Chiefs, but King Mswati III is in there with some respected traditional leaders. Just being outside here, you can feel the weight of the moment that's happening inside there.
Right after meeting with the National House of Chiefs, King Mswati and the chiefs stepped out to take some photos together. Watching that moment in person felt bigger than just pictures. You could tell there was a real mutual respect there, traditions standing side by side, captured in one powerful frame, and it was truly amazing to witness.
So yeah, as you can see, that's the King of Eswatini. He is done with his duties here at the National House of Chiefs, and he's leaving right to the Mencha Palace at the museum. So let's get there and let's see how it goes over there as well.
Right from the National House of Chiefs, the king received another warm welcome, this time at the Mencha Palace Museum. On his way there, you could hear powerful appellations being chanted. And if you're Eswati and you recognize what was said, please let me know in the comments. I would love to understand it better. When he arrived at the museum, it was more than just a talk. It was a moment of learning where he was taken through the rich history of the Asante Kingdom, and its culture.
Once again, you are welcome to the Kingdom of Asante. Before we start, I want to begin with a quote by Professor John Mbiti that says that Africans are notoriously and incurably religious. What it means is that everything about Asante is religious. So these two drums that I'm about to talk about, they are called Etumpan. Etumpan is our local language, meaning talking drums. These drums, before they are made, the king commissions a group. He gives them the right materials to produce these drums. So anytime they are beaten, they convey messages of the king to the people. It's always male, female that convey the messages to the people. Etumpan, talking drums. Apart from this, we also have the palanquin, apakan, means of transport. Several years ago, there were no transport, no vehicles, no airplane. The king had to travel. So, because there were no major roads, they devised this as means of transport. In the same way, we have special people who are commissioned, go to the forest, cut down the right tree before they invoke so many things in it, before these are made. And when this one is made, before we carry the king in the palanquin, we have special cloth used to decorate them. The king sits in, the legs stretched, and 4 strong men will carry the king on their shoulders. When I say the 4 strong men, I mean those who are specially prepared, spiritually empowered to carry the king on their shoulders. We have 2 long poles, like you see, connected through the loops here, and they will carry the king on their shoulders. To cushion them, we have these dry plantain leaves placed here to convey the king to his destination. Now, that was then, but today it's a blend between tradition and modernity. So we still carry the king in the palanquin. Tomorrow, for instance, the king will be carried in the same palanquin we see here at the Deva ground. And when the king is riding in the palanquin, under normal circumstances, we don't speak to him verbally. We have drums that are used to convey messages to him. They have been trained. He has been trained. So he understands whenever these drums are played. We have this type of drums that are also used whilst dancing in the palanquin, riding the palanquin. These are a set of drums used to convey messages to him. Your Majesty, apart from this one for the king, we also have this one for...
The message is always the same?
The same, yes.
The message is the same always?
Yes, always. Okay. The message since time immemorial, the same message. Okay. So the new kings are taught. Right. So that is why in our tradition, when a new king is installed, he is housed, secluded from the public for about 40 days. So this period, he is taught all these things, how to put on cloth, how to dance to the tune of the drums and everything. So that is how it has been since time immemorial.
Right from the Mensha Palace Museum, it was time for King Mswati III to meet His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. It was the moment of 2 great thrones meeting each other for the very first time.
He is here to pay a courtesy call to Otumfuo the Asante. He first stopped in Accra to meet the president and to share ideas with the president of Ghana. He couldn't have come straight to the king of Ashanti without passing through the president. He came on 2 purposes. One, to see the king of Ashanti, and to also pay a courtesy call to the president of Ghana.
It was time for the 2 most powerful thrones in Africa to meet face to face. King Mswati was welcomed in a true royal fashion with traditional drumming, dancing, and all the honors you would expect for a big moment like this. He was received by the chief of Pompata before being led to meet His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. The palace grounds were packed, security was tight, and you could feel something important was happening. I couldn't get inside to capture the meeting itself, but I had the chance to speak with Mr. Martin, the managing director for Times of Eswatini. And here's what he had to say.
Hi, Dina. This has been a very good welcome that we've received here in Ghana. When we arrived, we got royal treatment from the airport as we landed, and we were met and ushered to the presidential house, a Jubilee House, where we saw a fantastic display of Ghana culture. From there, His Majesty was able to meet the president, where they exchanged greetings and further strengthened the bilateral ties that exist between the two countries with a memorandum of understanding that will create more trade between the two countries and other areas where they can cooperate and exchange to help both citizens of our peoples, of the peoples of the Eswatini, and those of Ghana. What the trip for me, as also for the rest of the delegation, is exciting about is having to also come to see the cultural aspect of it, having moved from Accra to Kumasi, where we're now witnessing the traditional stronghold of Ghana culture and traditional practices, being in the House of Chiefs, where His Majesty was, for the first time, the first reigning monarchy to come and address the House of Chiefs, was a very significant landmark event that we witnessed today. So we were happy to see them share ideas with the President of the House of Chiefs in terms of how chiefs play a very crucial role. The recognition was given to former President Kwame Nkrumah, who with the chiefs helped consolidate liberation and independence for the Ghana people, as well as King Sobhuza in Eswatini. His Majesty acknowledged these great leaders and the role they played with chiefs to give us independence and the countries that we have today. Moreover, they also strengthened the cultural practices which we have today. We are proudly Swati, you are proudly Ghanaians, and we are happy to find a very rich Ghanaian culture existing here. Before tomorrow, today, the King has further had an opportunity to meet the King of the Ashanti, and I think it's a very special moment for us as well as Mswati to see him face to face.
After some time, the two kings stepped out, although I didn't get to see what happened inside, but just watching them come out, you could feel the weight of it, and the handshake said everything. It wasn't just formal, it was powerful, two kingdoms standing together, and in that moment I realized this was bigger than tradition. It was a reminder of what unity can truly look like in Africa. One thing you'll always notice being an Asante man is how deep the respect runs for their king. As Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the king Mswati, men around began to praise him in a kind, being loud and bold, full of emotion. They said things like, "We will worship you till we die. King Piao, someone wishes they were like you. You are the Solomon they used to write the Bible." It wasn't just flattery, it was a reflection of how deeply the people revere their king, and how tradition here is still alive in every word, every chant, and every praise. Out of deep respect, Otumfuo stood still until King Mswati convoy began to move before he turned to leave. And for me, that quiet gesture said it all. That true royalty isn't just about power, it's about humility and honor.
Today was a very special day between two very powerful kingdoms. Although I couldn't go inside to capture it all, but just being around it, the respect, the culture was something else. To me, this goes on to show how much this visit means, not just to Kumasi, but to Ghana and Eswatini. Tomorrow is a grand day, but as you can see, we are setting the stage up. See you tomorrow. Today is a very special day, and they have made tasks for all the kings, showing exactly where each one will be seated. Let me just turn the camera. So this one right here says Kuku Hine. I don't know if you can see. It says Kuku Hine. And then the other one next to me also says, this one is Kontina Hine. Yeah. And the next one also says, this one also says in Sweetan Hine. And then the next one is Dimanko Hine. Right here is where the royal family will be seated, the Nananoma this year. And right here is also where Asante Hima will be seated. To me, Asante Hime's presence will represent the strength, the wisdom, and the continuity in Asante tradition.
My name is Kofi Gansa. I'm the face of Tour World Tourism Services Limited. Today is a very special day. I am here with a delegation of university professors and doctors from the US. These are guests of Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and he has invited us to be part of this ceremony. This ceremony is very significant because Otumfuo is hosting a very prominent king from Southern Africa known as King Mswati, and we are privileged to come and observe a Durbar. Today is going to be beautiful colors. Tradition will be at its best. There will be pageantry, and people of African descent who are in the US and the diaspora. It's going to be a learning experience, a learning process. You are going to see the beauty of Ghana, the beauty of Africa, and at the end of the day, they'll be proud to go back and go and change all the misinformation that is going on. That's what brought us here today.
The man that's right behind me is the king of Kumawu. This is the man, one of the most prominent people who are part of the Asante history. And that right there is the king of the Miambra. You can see how much these people hold respect for him. This royal entrance is crazy. It's a very long queue, and this shows you the tradition of Ghana. The king who is coming at this moment is the king of Eswatini, and you can see the respect these people have for him. And that's the king of Sampa Jampra from the Bono region. This goes on to show you the cultural tradition of the people of Ghana. The energy here is crazy. The king beside me is in Hima, all the way from Ahaf. Chiefs and traditional rulers across Ghana are meeting here tonight for the grand debut of the king of Eswatini III and the king of Asante, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
One by one, the chiefs arrived with pride in full regalia. By the time it was all set, everyone from traditional rulers to government officials was seated and waiting. It's one of the beautiful things about the Asante culture, how tradition, respect, and leadership come together when Otumfuo is about to arrive. Just before the arrival of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the king of Eswatini made his entrance. He was welcomed with honor and deep respect. To see a Southern African king walk into Menchef for a photo me, and it wasn't just a visit, it was a moment of unity. Different kingdoms, different journeys, but the pride of African tradition brought it all together. Before the Asante gets seated, a sacred royal procession deeply rooted in tradition is always performed. It begins with the Samanka, a spiritual ritual led by the Samanka priest to cleanse and prepare the ground for the king's arrival. Overseeing this rite is the Nsumankwahine, the chief custodian of spiritual protection. Then the Islamic community follows the Samanka right away, because from the beginning of time, the Islamic community also provides an advice to the king. So the Samanka is the first procession among the processions done before Asante gets seated. Following the Samanka is the first set of ceremonial ivory trumpets, known as Nkonchuma, also follows. The ivory trumpet comes in a group of 7 and they just don't blow their horns, but recites poetry and sends messages through it. The Nsania groups follows, followed by the Kiti drummers setting the royal rhythm. Next were the Nkwantim Komuta, always clearing the sacred path, because the Asante doesn't just walk on any ground. Followed by the wine carriers who also move with purpose, holding the ceremonial drink. Then followed by the royal sword bearers, the bodyguards and elders, each playing their part in the grand procession. And now, the next session of procession was unfolding. The next group was the stood group. You could see the lion skin, the ornamented chair, and the silver cassia. If the king is riding a palanquin, the silver cassia always leads in front of the chair, which serves as a symbol of royalty and presence. And then came the akuchem, the royal war shield, which is a symbol of bravery and power. His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II entered, and he was canopied under 7 umbrellas, each one representing royalty, dignity, and rank. As he appeared, everyone rose to their feet, all standing in honor of the king. He was adorned in pure gold from head to toe, with gold bracelets, anklets, and necklaces. Behind him was the mighty phantom from playing. The phantom from Drumbeat tells stories of heroism, militancy, and Asante power, calling to memory the fearless spirit of the kingdom. Beside the king was Nensu, a traditional cooler holding water and food ready in case His Majesty needed refreshments. Then came the gun bearers, carrying not just weapons but centuries of history. Every gun had a name, a purpose, and a story to tell. These weren't just guards, they were the elite protectors of Otumfuo. When the king is seated, it is they who approach first, greeting with honor and with gun salutes. Everything that was happening, the gold, the drums, the shields, the guns, reflected Asante's legacy of strength, even in times of peace. You heard the drums, the gunshots, but not out of fear. It was history performing itself live in front of our eyes. Asante Kingdom is a very peaceful kingdom, showcasing its power and pride through rich and living tradition. The moment the king sits down, one of the royal sons is sent to inform the queen mother that he is seated. In Asante tradition, the queen mother doesn't necessarily have to be his biological mother. Right now, the queen mother is actually his older sister, Nana Kunedu Yadom III. She may be his sister, but symbolically, she is the mother of the king, and she holds a powerful role in the kingdom. She gracefully greeted the king, and you could feel the respect in that moment. After the queen mother, the queen's consort, which is the king's wife, came in with their royal children. They first greeted the Asantehene to pay their respects, then later turned to the visiting king of Eswatini and his royal family, greeting them as well. It was a simple but powerful moment, honoring not just their own king, but also welcoming another royal house with the same dignity, but also welcoming another royal house with the same level of respect.
Here is back. The kings are seated, Asantehene is seated, and everyone is here. But the thing is, it's really crowded right now, and just already started drizzling. But then there is one thing people are saying. They are saying it's not going to rain because the Asantes have some rituals that they are going to do to hold the rain. I mean,
so now
I don't know. So I think I have to believe something today. Okay. So right now it's drizzling. I believe you can see the rain dripping on me. So I want to see if truly it's going to rain, or they can hold on to the rain. So let's see and let's find out.
One by one, the chiefs at the Deba rose from their seat and made their way forward to greet the Asantehene. It wasn't just ceremonial. This was an important moment of reaffirming loyalty and unity, a show of respect from every corner of the kingdom. As the procession of greetings continued, something subtle but powerful stood out to me, which is the umbrellas that carries the chiefs. In Asante culture, even the umbrella speaks and carries deep messages. One of them read Osaberima, a title for a noble warrior, a courageous leader, someone whose strength and wisdom command respect. Another also read Ebusuansi Yenya Osuda, meaning the family says we will never get anyone like you, which is also a powerful message of honor and love from the people. And then came a truly special moment. The king of Eswatini, accompanied by his royal family, stepped forward to greet Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. It was 2 monarchs, each dropped in the full weight of their history and tradition, stood face to face, and it was so beautiful and powerful to witness. After greeting the Asantehene, the king of Eswatini and his royal family didn't stop there. They turned and paid their respect to the Asantehene as well, because in the Asante Kingdom, both the king and the queen mother are honored. Together, they embody the wisdom, soul, and the strength of Asante people. After greeting the Asantehene, the king of Eswatini and his wife were presented with portraits handed to them by the queen mother herself, a touching moment that reflected the respect and warmth shared between both royal houses. Then came a rare and a beautiful gesture by the Asante tradition. Otumfuo sent his royal butler, the one in charge of the palm wine, together with the chief of Jobin to serve it to the king of Eswatini. It was a quiet but powerful way of saying, "You are welcome," and from the smile on his face after tasting it, you could tell he really loved it. After the palm wine was served, The chief of Jabin greeted Otumfuo and delivered the welcome address.
We welcome you, Ngwanyema, land of Eswatini, with royal honors and the blessings of our ancestors. May your footsteps on this land be guided by peace and joy and purpose. And may this encounter between two great monarchs echo across Africa as a call to unity, heritage, and progress. Mwanyama of Eswatini, Wemukelekele. Welcome, thank you very much.
The king of Eswatini also delivered his speech, and when he was done, he was presented with the royal Asante gifts. The gifts hold powerful symbols of cultural pride, respect, and unity between the two kingdoms. Now, it was time for His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II's turn to walk over and greet the king of Eswatini, a rare moment where two great monarchs met in mutual respect and royal honor.
The two flags leading Otumfuo to go and greet the king of Mswati means that flag is the flag of Asante. That's the reason why we say Asante Oman. That means Asante is a country on its own.
As they stood face to face, you could feel it was more than a royal greeting. It was tradition meeting tradition, a moment of quiet power and ancestral honor. Right after greeting the king of Eswatini, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu was lifted into his palanquin once more, but this time for the royal reception. As he was carried around the Durbar grounds, he greeted each chief in his state one by one, which is a powerful closing act of respect and tradition.
To me, this is why we call power and respect. Otumfuo Osei Tutu, His Royal Majesty, has really shown the reason why he is a true and a real leader. At the beginning of today's program, his people came and then greeted him, and at the end, he's making sure he also greets everyone. We have been doing this for almost 10 minutes now. It's still not yet done, and if you can see right behind me, there are people, official government officials, who are also waiting for the king to also give them their greetings. So, to me, first of all, I'm so proud to be part to witness this amazing Durbar.
As the Durbar drew to a close, the same Samanka who cleared the path for Otumfuo's arrival now led the way for his departure. As he made his way out, the people cheered with pride and every shout was a tribute to the king they deeply honored. And just like that, the Durbar came to a close with a powerful moment of unity and culture shared between the Asante Kingdom and the Eswatini royals. But this was only day 2 of the king of Eswatini's visit to the Asante Kingdom. Day 3 welcomed the more ceremonial moment, the royal banquet. The venue was regal, rich in tradition but warm in its welcome. Chiefs, royals, and dignitaries filled the room, dressed in their finest as two great kingdoms came together in mutual respect and celebration. But this wasn't just about formality. It was about connection between cultures, histories, and leadership. From the music to the toast, every part of the night felt intentional, and you could sense the pride in being part of something so historic.
On behalf of His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu, I have the honor and privilege to present to you a gift which he feels you will treasure for a long, long time until eternity. It's a gold chain made of 22 carats gold. Your Majesty, as you are no doubt aware, gold symbolizes nobility, purity, and enduring value. In our culture, it signifies prosperity, excellence, and divine blessings. It's for these intrinsic values and symbolisms. That's why Otumfuo deemed it appropriate to present a gift to you in no other metal than in gold. The links of the chain are made of the Adinkra symbol called Dinyame, which means the omnipotence of God, so that God will guide and guard us in all our endeavors and ensure that the kingdom of Eswatini, as well as the kingdom of Ghana, of Asante, will prosper for the betterment of his people and for all those who are habitants. Otumfuo would very much like me, if it's possible, Eswatini Ngwanyema, to formally decorate you with this gold chain, 22 karat gold. The pendant is the crest of the occupant of the golden stool. It is called the Denchemche. This was crafted by no other person than King Osei Tutu II himself, as he came from Dinchra to assume the mantle of Asante Kingdom. It will take quite some time for me to explain all the symbolisms that are embodied in this symbol. But it being the crest of the king, and he presenting it to you, epitomizes the deep affection and friendship that exists between the two of you. Which friendship and affection he knows you will cherish forever and ever.
Uduma kuyasa ngamazi ngamaphudlu kwasa khotho ngamangezandinda wehle goqona uya kamfokazana ngonyana indlovu yaphetshala zona izindaba kuyababa kawuzela yasande kilo lethi imbibili kuyabulala la ngonyana indlovu sibonga sibusiso silo sikhulu.
And for your Royal Highness, 22 karat Asante gold, also with Adinkra, various Adinkra symbols, as a token of our affection, gratitude, and pleasure of having you here in Kumasi with us. We hope this will be a good memento for your visit and that you remember us fondly when you return home. It comes with a matching bracelet and earrings that you can use. Okay? Take a picture. And our famous Asante Kente, you can't leave without taking a piece. So This is also for you. Thank you. And just wrap it on you.
After receiving such a heartfelt gesture, it was time for the Eswatini king and queen to also show their appreciation, presenting their own gift to His Royal Majesty Otumfuo and Lady Julia. What followed was even more symbolic, the two kings sharing the dance floor, and soon after, the Prince of Asante and the Princess of Eswatini also joined in. It felt like history unfolding before our eyes, a rare and a powerful union of two royal families sealed with joy, tradition, and deep respect. It was a night the kingdoms and all who witnessed it will never forget. At the royal banquet, where the Maya was officially presented to His Royal Majesty Otumfuo and King Mswati III, a recognition of incredible work he has done in telling Africa's stories to the world. Seeing him honored before two kings wasn't just a proud moment for me, it was deeply motivating and a reminder that when you stay true to your purpose, recognition finds you even in rooms you once thought were out of your reach. He stood in front of royalty, but at the royal banquet, I was hiding behind doors, unsure if I actually belonged there. Yet, I believe if I kept showing up, purpose would eventually make a room for me. Because the truth is, I almost didn't make it to the royal banquet. I knew getting close would be difficult. After all, it was a gathering between two royal families. For a moment, I told myself maybe I should even try. But then I thought, what do I have to lose? If I go and I get turned away, at least I know I tried. And I'm glad I did. There were layers of security. I still don't know how it happened, but somehow I made it to the hallway just steps away from where the ceremony was being held. And honestly, that felt enough for me. The chiefs and dignitaries began stepping out, and to my surprise, they asked me to take them pictures. They loved every shot, and even though they knew I wasn't part of any royal family, they were all incredibly kind to me. And that level of humility from people of such status stood out to me. They loved the rich shots, and I ended up photographing most of the dignitaries that were present, and that moment stood out to me. Also ended up making a reel of one of the chiefs, and here's how it turned out. The moment with the chiefs was unforgettable, and on the final day of King Mswati's visit, the climax of his time in the Asante Kingdom was nothing short of symbolic. His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, as Chancellor of KNUST, invited King Mswati III to grace the 58th graduation ceremony. It was a beautiful end to a remarkable 4-day journey, one that united in tradition, excellence, and purpose. After the ceremony was history itself. King Mswati III, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Vice Presidents, dignitaries, and chiefs standing side by side for photographs that will live on as symbols of unity and respect. And with those final moments captured, it was time for his departure. A farewell that closed the chapter of shared culture, friendship, and honor.
I'm in the person of Muhammad Jato Asma. I'm a field actuarial science graduate from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
My name is Solomon Domayang Antumune. I just graduated with a PhD in agribusiness. As part of the program, for me, it was very impressive to have two kings, His Royal Majesty Osei Tutu II from Kumasi, and also the king from Eswatini.
And I must say today marks a special day in my life, having become a graduate from the noble institutions. And the congregation actually also marks a very special one, of course, because it embraces a lot of dignitaries from the Vice President, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and then the King of Eswatini.
When I saw the program and I realized that both kings would be at my graduation, I felt honored because it's a rare opportunity to have two kings being part of a graduation ceremony.
I think this comes across as a very inspiring one. Listening to the remarks of the Vice Chancellors, she stated that there are currently 8 students from Eswatini who are pursuing various degrees in KNUST. I think it comes across as a good one, looking at the fact that we have, of course, there are other students who come from various countries across the sub-region, but then Eswatini, much has not been heard about them, but then it's been quite an interesting one because his coming has really inspired a lot of us. Looking at a blend between the culture and then the sort of a corporate monarchy system that is experienced in Eswatini, it comes across as a beautiful one.
All this kind of symbolize unity in African countries, and then it also kind of showcase our culture to the world, and then it also kind of symbolize peace in African countries. The need for us to unite and then can fight for a common cause as Africans. If we are united, we can fight together. But once we are united and then we are divided, we may not be able to achieve our aims and then take.
The relationship that the two kings have would serve as an opportunity for both countries. I'm an agribusiness person, and I see this as an opportunity for Ghana and Eswatini, that's Swaziland, to be able to trade. And if at the top level the kings have that kind of cordial relationship, if they are very good friends, and if one can visit the other, for students to see them as friends, that can encourage us to be able to work hard, knowing that, first of all, there's the business opportunity that exists between the two countries. Secondly, we feel motivated that our leaders have us at heart.
Like the Otumfuo rightly said, he's going to replicate the gesture from the king. And of course, he's not going to go alone. It's going to be a whole entourage. And it's evident that it's also going to be beautiful as we had here. So of course, it's going to promote the bilateral relationships between the two countries and then, should I say, the two kingdoms.
I will always remember this moment because it's very memorable. I don't know when it will happen again, but I'm blessed to have been a student that had the two kings grace my graduation. Thank you.
I'm aware that there were deliberations between our president and that of the king. So of course, I know that one is going to boost the socio-economic aspects of the country, and then as well as the cultural parts, because it's very evident that for what we saw today and what we have seen over the days, the past 5 days that the king has been in the country, it's been a beautiful one. So yes.
Listening to the graduates share their thoughts on the impact on these two kingdoms, I realized this visit wasn't just for the history books. It left a mark on the people who will carry Africa's story forward. And for me, these past 4 days have been unforgettable. I have watched history, tradition, and purpose come together in ways I never imagined. Just a while ago, I was behind doors, unsure if I even belong here. Yet today, I have witnessed moments that will live far beyond my camera lens. From the National House of Chiefs to the Royal Banquet, from cultural exchanges to KNUST graduation, it was more than ceremonies and speeches. It was a reminder that leadership, unity, and heritage are powerful forces. As King Mswati departed, it wasn't just the end of his visit, it was the closing of a chapter I feel honored to have witnessed up close.